Alright guys, this is section 10.1. This is a big moment now because we are in the double digits when it comes to our units. We have 14, we're starting unit 10, it's going to take us like a week and a half, and then we'll be in 11, then we have 4 left, and then we're done. This is crazy. Unless it snows more and we're not done until July, but we won't worry about that until that happens. 10.1, we're talking about the unification of Italy. Basically, Unit 10 is all about looking at kind of politics and culture in our big countries as we go forward, and we're trying to get to a point where we're going to fight a world war. Not there quite yet, but here we are with Italy. We got to talk about when Italy became one country of Italy. So you see I have my stereotypical Italian trio here. We've got a little Mario Kart, which is a good way to get me upset and mad at the world if I ever lose, which rarely happens. We've got some pizza, which is delicious. And we have Pope Francis, who is definitely not Italian, but he works and lives in Italy at the Vatican. And then we have just the other stuff on this slide, which is not much at all. So the time we're looking at today is after 1848, where Italy was after 1848, and then on until 1871, which is really the last date that Italy completes its unification process. So first of all, where is Italy in 1848? What does it look like? How do things work? If you remember, there was some revolutions, quite a few, in Italy during 1848, led by a guy. Let me get my little pencil here. Okay, let's write. There we go. You remember this name? Giuseppe Mazzini. I think it's Giuseppe. I don't know. Let's go with Giuseppe. I don't think that's right, but I know his name is Mazzini. Okay? Mazzini was trying to lead Italy in unification through his Young Italy organization. And Mazzini really looked to lead that movement through this thing called Romanticism, which is an artistic movement, a mode of thought, which we will talk about if we haven't already. Mazzini is looking to do it through a romantic way. We'll talk more about that in a second. But after 1848, you're going to see the Italian Unification movement take a more political mindset of making some deals, doing whatever it takes behind the scenes to get the country together. And 3 names we'll look at today: King Victor Emmanuel, Count Cavour, and Giuseppe Garibaldi are going to be names that in this span of time are going to be important for Italian unification. First of all, why do you unify? Okay, I mean, the map is really pretty the way it is right here, right? I mean, you got all sorts of colors, you got all these lines, you got all this prettiness. But at the end of the day, if you unify into one country, first of all, the nationalists are going to be really happy because now you have one country as Italy, and you can combine everybody together, and you have this Italian idea, so Italy can be one of these power players in Europe. But you also have the economic view, in that now these city-states, basically, like Tuscany and the Papal States, and this is Naples down here, and then Piedmont and Venice and all these places, they can trade for free, that you don't have tariffs in between each city-states, that you don't put taxes on their trading, and that they can kind of work together as one. So you have definite economic advantages along with that romantic nationalist feel as well. Okay, so that's kind of leading the push to add to the existing recording. Okay, I think I may have messed this up, but if I did, it's going to be important to know Piedmont. Okay, Piedmont, Sardinia. Okay, now I'm going to go forward. The question is, who leads this? Okay, we've seen what Mazzini could do. His revolutions in 1831 and 1848 did not work out. So now a new guy takes the stage, and he is Count Camillo di Cavour. This guy right here. He looks like someone I know, but I don't know exactly. I don't know. He's like your great uncle or something. He's kind of creepy. You're like, I think his breath stinks, but I don't want to like get too close to him to figure out. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, Cavour. He is a prime minister in Piedmont, Sardinia. So if we go back, can I do this? Okay, I'm back. Now, if you heard what I said about Piedmont, where it is, that's what you need to know. I think I did like a little lost flash sideways thing there, and it was really trippy. But now I'm back. Okay, here we go. Cavour is the prime minister in Piedmont, Sardinia. He's not the king. The king's name is Victor Emmanuel, but Cavour is his right-hand man. They actually hate each other. They can't stand one another at all. But Cavour, his goal again is to unite Italy as one country, but he wants it to be done under Piedmont's rule. Now, why is Piedmont the place to be? Well, if you look at the third bullet here, Cavour had crafted Piedmont into a liberal and economically stable state. For one, they had granted a constitution. They have a king, so they have a constitutional monarchy, but they created a constitution which allowed for parliamentary government with elections. Extremely liberal ideas right there. They had also limited the influence of the Catholic Church, which, as you know, the Catholic Church is huge in Italy, right? That's where the Pope is, down in Rome. So they limited the influence of the Catholic Church, meaning the government could rule, ensuring religious toleration, ensuring religious freedom. You know, still Catholic, but the church is not running it, which would be a very, very conservative idea. Now, Cavour, his strategy, unlike Mazzini, is to be a very political thinker. He's going to employ politics rather than emotion and feeling as a means for unification. He's going to be the one behind the scenes that does the deals and rules from the back rather than be the guy on the battlefield and in the front of the meetings encouraging the people to unite for Italy because it's the Italian thing to do. It's what your soul demands of you. I don't know, it's very metaphysical. Whatever. Cavour, again, is going to be, the other guy's going to be guy behind the scenes, making deals, crafting things to where he can have success. What does he do? Well, first of all, he ticks the Pope off. And not just Cavour, but basically this Italian Unification movement. Now, this is something that we're going to chart later on in religious changes through the 19th century. But one thing to know at first is that as Cavour starts to move Italy toward a more liberal state, remember Piedmont, very liberal place, the church really comes out against what's going on. The Pope at the time, who himself was a more liberal-minded man, Pius IX, wrote and issued the Syllabus of Errors. And that's basically what your life is, right? It's just a syllabus. It's just a rundown of all the crap you've done. And basically that's what the Pope is saying, is that, Cavour, you are stupid. And the rest of you Italians are going to hell. And I mean, maybe not in that language, but basically what he's saying, and he's got some good points. If you're a conservative thinker, he comes out and warns Catholics. He says, listen, these liberal ideas, you know, these are not what we feel represents what the church should do. You know, where we tolerate different religions, where we entrust more people in government. You know, we think with the elite should do that, and the elite work with the church. Rationalism. Basically saying that, hey, it's an Enlightenment thought. If you don't see it, it can't be real. You know, that just takes away the whole measure of faith. And Pius IX says, hey, you know, faith is a big deal in what we do. Obviously, we can't see the justification for our faith right in front of us. So, hey, it's going to clash with us. Here's a big one right here. Separation of church and state. He says, hey, that's not a good thing. We got to have the church involved. Remember, a very conservative idea. And even though Pius was very liberal, at the end of the day, comparing him to Cavour and some of these others, he's still a very conservative guy. And then religious liberty, again, granting toleration to other groups besides Catholics, which still includes Protestants at this point. The church is not going to be very much for. So that's another thing going on, is the Syllabus of Errors issued by the Catholic Church. To Cavour. Cavour at first is going to seek the unity of northern and central Italy. And to do that, he's going to put his actions or his politics into action. Sorry. I had a graham cracker, and it's like stuck in my throat. So if I'm not at school on Monday, this is why. I probably died of choking on a graham cracker, so I apologize. Let me try to get through it. Okay, so Cavour orchestrates. I think I'm good. I think the graham cracker is gone. Cavour orchestrates a meeting at the Plombières in 1859 with a dude named Napoleon III. Now, who is that, you ask? Well, Napoleon III is a guy named Louis Napoleon. Oh, yes, we've heard of him. Okay, remember, he was elected in 1848 to become the new president of the French Second Republic. Well, we're going to learn that he kind of crowned himself emperor. When has a Bonaparte done that before? It's like we couldn't see that coming. In any case, Cavour is going to meet with Napoleon because, if you recall, Austria has possession of much of northern Italy, including where Venice is. So Cavour makes a deal with Napoleon III to say, hey, if we trigger a war with Austria, you're going to come in and help us. And in return, we're going to give you a few territories off the western side of where Piedmont is. They're called like Savoy, Nice, or something like that. And not extremely relevant. But anyway, he gets the deal. Napoleon agrees. Hey, we'll pick up these territories. We'll help you against Austria. We really don't like Austria that much anyway. So we'll make that happen. Well, it so goes that Sardinia did provoke the war with Austria. Austria kind of like walked into it too. It's not like that, if you call it provoking a war, it's like you do something bad. But basically, Austria like demanded that Sardinia, or Piedmont, Sardinia, and I use Sardinia here, but we're basically where Piedmont is on the map, which is like northwestern Italy. Basically, Austria like expects Piedmont to conscript their population, meaning like raise an army to help Austria. Well, the Austrians are like, no, we don't want to do that. So they start to like raise one, and outside of the terms of what the Austrians wanted. So the Austrians say, hey, you better stop, or we're going to have a war on you. Well, this is what Cavour wants, so bam, there's a war. Hey, how about that? And the Austrians lose. So Piedmont wins the war, and Napoleon III gets his territory. And there's much more in depth with this thing. Napoleon actually goes behind Cavour's back and has a treaty with the Austrians, and there's all sorts of drama, and it's Mean Girls all over again, but who cares about that? At this point, this is more in depth of what we want to do. In any case, Sardinia is going to receive, Piedmont Sardinia is going to receive a lot of this land in the northern parts of Italy. So that leads us on the path to unification. So Cavour's goal is in motion. Now let's see what happens so that his goal takes. We're going to look at the players first of all. Cavour, thanks to that war with Austria. Okay. We're going to see like for the rest of the class that Austria like sucks at everything, basically. So if you're Austrian, I'm so sorry if you had to hear that, but it's basically the way it is. So get used to it. In any case, Cavour is going to gobble up the land in the north. In the south, you have more movement toward unification, and a guy named Giuseppe Garibaldi, who's going to liberate much of southern Italy, Sicily, Naples, those areas. But Garibaldi is doing his unification movement because he's on the same lines as Mazzini. He's doing it for a more romantic reason, an idealistic reason, to where it is his duty to see that Italy becomes one country. He believes that's his mission on earth. And his forces that fight with him all wear red shirts. They are known as the red shirts. So basically, if Garibaldi would be out leading the troops and everyone would be wearing red. So this army is going to add a lot of territory in the south. Cavour politically is adding up territory in the north. So then you get the middle, and the problem is you've got a big red spot right there, and it's called Rome. And of course, who is in Rome? It's the Pope. Okay, remember Pius IX. He is there, ready to rumble and other popey things. So anyway, Cavour insisted that Sardinia, which is, again, Piedmont, Sardinia, they're linked together. Cavour wanted them to be the foundation of a united Italy. And actually, Cavour is going to die in like 1862, so he's not going to see this come to fruition at the end. But he wants them to be the leader because of the liberal foundation that they have. And then Garibaldi, who they've Again, Cavour has come down this way, and then Garibaldi is coming up this way. So, you could see that Garibaldi might want to hold on to what he had conquered and say, no, I want to be the leader, I want to be the king. But Garibaldi is not a political figure. He does not see himself as that. And for the greater good of a united Austria, Garibaldi allows his conquest to be absorbed into what Cavour has taken, which I think is a very, very selfless move. Which, again, he could have been the conquering hero and rode into Rome and done all these things. But no, Garibaldi says, Cavour, I don't trust you completely, but I think you have the right head on your shoulders that this is our chance to unite Italy as one country. So, he does that. And then in 1861, Victor Emmanuel, remember he's the king up there in Piedmont, Sardinia. He is declared now the king of Italy. Yay! Celebration! There's a problem, though. Italy is not totally unified. You still have two areas which have not been taken. You have Rome, which we pointed out. You also have Venice. And Venetia, which is the city-state. So, you've got it like, think if the United States was all the U.S., but Kentucky and, I don't know, Kansas, where it's their own countries. Okay, so you have two pivotal parts, because what's more important than Kentucky and Kansas? Those two parts were still not in the whole ball game. So, we're not quite done with but we're basically done with unification. 5 years later, 1866, Venice will be brought under Italian control from Austria. There's a little war that we'll talk about. I think we already have here in 2014. In the future, I don't know if we have yet, but anyway. The Austro-Prussian War in 1866, where Austria got their butt kicked from Prussia. Venice was given to the Italians. Italy didn't really help Germany that much, but Germany was feeling all nice or whatever, who knows. But they gave Venice away. So Venice goes to Italy, and then in 1871, when French troops, because traditionally French troops had guarded the Pope, at least up until this point, they were part of that force. While France is involved in the Franco-Prussian War in 1871, so it leaves no one to guard the Vatican, or where the Pope hangs out. So Italian troops rumble into Rome and they capture it, and then Italy is truly unified as one country. 1871, the key year, is when this happens. Now, my argument is that is Italy truly unified? Politically, at this point, it is. It has one government. All Italy on a map is under one realm. But they're very, very different. Okay, the north, Cavour's land, at this point, very industrial and progressive, quite liberal, thanks to Piedmont's example. But at the same time, in southern Italy, it's very rural and agrarian, and it's very stagnant. There's no economic growth. You could almost compare it to the United States on the eve of the Civil War. Whereas the north was very industrial, the south was rural, agrarian. I don't know if progressive and stagnant apply, but anyway, you have that great difference. So even though Italy, which here's my map of Italy, that's not the worst map I've drawn. Okay, maybe it is, but whatever. There's Italy. You have the north. Okay, say you have, that's a star, that's Rome. Okay, but here's the north. Here's the south, and even though they're all together, you basically have a difference in culture. And as we go forward, Italy's, it's not like they're all going to be on the same page and become a dynamic superstar in Europe. It was Mazzini and Garibaldi's dream, the romantic dream, that Italy be the new France or the new what we'll see Germany. But Italy never will be that, and partly because they are still two different Italys, okay? In my opinion, Italize. Okay, so really the final thing to know from this, from 10.1 is, first of all, who are the different players, kind of how the process went, and then maybe also the two different ways it was done. Okay, Cavour's way of, realpolitik, of doing politics first, versus Garibaldi fighting and drawing the dream of United Italy, kind of piggybacking on Mazzini's goals too. So knowing those things, I think it would be good to go with 10.1. It's not a big section that shows up a lot, but hey, it's Italy. You got to enjoy Italy. Got the pizza, the spaghetti, the Mario Kart. And I think everybody can do a good Italian accent too. So kudos to Italy, and that's 10.1. So good times.